Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to all the participant of this meeting, and good morning also to the Honorable Ms. Nita Sarina Nulita Dewi. First of all, let's us give thanks to Allah who has given us the opportunity together again at this meeting. Now, before meeting, introduce myself. My name is Nurul Hilmi Fauzia. My identity number is 2021-2097. I'm from 7 group, and I will be the moderator in this presentation. Here, I am with my group of friends, with my member of group. Next slide, please. There are Adam Muhammad Faisal, then Doni Adriansyah, Kantia Aprida, Novi Widi, and the last Vina Destriana. Okay, several occasions before we have learned about survey research, maybe I will review a little more what survey research is. Survey research is the collection of information from a sample of individuals through their responses to questions. Maybe most of you all already understand about the survey research. Then also, survey research is always being used for some research. Okay, so on this, we will review article about on this hook, we will review survey research article. It's about, next slide. The table of content of this presentation is about identity of article, research background, research goals, method, findings, discussion, conclusion, and the last references. Okay, next slide. Okay, this here is the identity of the article that we will review. This article was written by Muhyiddin Alatomi from Sana'a University, Yaman. This article was written in 2021. This article is entitled EFL College Junior and Senior Students Self-Regulated Motivation for Improving English Speaking, a survey research. This journal is from Helion, volume 7 and 4th issue. The pages that are loaded are from page 1 to 10, and you can see on the screen there is DOI or URL there, yeah. Okay, since we already know what article will be reviewed, let's move on the research background and what is the purposes of the article, and also there is what method will be used in this article. Research design will be delivered by Kantia. The time is yours, Kantia.
Well, thank you, Nurul Hilmi, for the chance. I'm Kantia Prida Salma, and my NPM is 112. Here I will explain about the research background. In this research, the researcher revealed that there are many Yemen college students find it difficult to speak English fluently. And one reason here could be the higher level of anxiety that EFL college student experience at the freshman and some 4 levels. And another reason could be the lack of speaking courses at junior and senior level, since all courses at this level are linguistics and literature oriented. And then the third could be the complex and interactive nature of speaking, which demands consistent practice and object. And then the fourth, the last reason of could be the lack of motivation from the monotonous way of teaching speaking and the limited exposure to authentic material in English. So since the junior and seniors level over no speaking courses and allow for limited opportunities for practice English speaking inside the classroom, some self-motivated junior and senior college students uh, take opportunities beyond the walls of the classroom, utilizing physical and virtual human interaction to hone their speaking. Therefore, this research looks to junior and senior EFL students and examines its association with their academic level and gender. And next slide, please. And here the next point about the purpose as well as the research question. This descriptive research examine the level of self-regulated motivation for improving speaking EFL, or we can call SRMES EFL, by Yemeni college students. Also looks into the interaction of student academic level and gender. Specifically here, this research will answer the following three questions below. The first question, what is Yemeni EFL college students SRMES EFL? And then the second, what is Yemeni EFL college senior SRMES EFL? And then the last question, to what extent do Yemen EFL college senior and junior SRMES EFL vary in terms of their academic level and genders? And this research is the first research to describe Yemen EFL college student to improve their EFL speaking competence, because since the most of the relevant studies conducted in EFL education focus on EFL writing. And next slide. And here I will also explain about the research methodology on the first point, namely research design. This research is quantitative research with descriptive non-experimental survey study design. It is an attempt to describe a Yemen EFL college student overall level of SRMBS EFL and clarify the link between student age and academic level with their level of skills. As we know that the survey research as a quantitative description of trends, attitude, and opinion of the population, or test for association among variables of population by studying the sample of that population. So the researcher used the research design in testing the existing variables. And that's all I can say about the research background, the purpose, also the research design. I'll be back to moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the good explanation, Kantia. Okay, let's move to the next explanation. Is about still about the method in this article about setting and analysis will be delivered by Novi Vidi. Time is yours.
All right. All right, thank you, moderator, for giving me opportunity to explaining the method of study. So here I will continue by explaining the sample and setting of the research. So the study sample comprised 300 EFL college students from 21 to 26 years old, where 150 students were junior level 3 and another 150 students were senior level 4. All students majored in English Department Sana University, Yemen, and they are in the second semester. Furthermore, the convenience sampling was utilized in this study. It means that respondents were chosen for their willingness to participate in this research. And for the instrument, the study used an online Google Form-based survey to collect data from the participant. The online questionnaire of the study included two main sections. The first is demographic, and the second section contained an online modified version of self-regulated motivation for improving speaking English as a foreign language scale. The demographic section contains 3 items that investigate respondent demographic information in terms of level and gender. Meanwhile, as you can see on the slide, self-regulated motivation for improving speaking English as a foreign language scale contained 4 sections. The first subsection was about student task value activation, and the purpose is measuring student value of developing EFL speaking competence. It consists of item 1 to item number 7. And the second subsection was about student regulation for learning environment. The subscale assesses the extent to which students surpass the limitation of EFL input per context to get exposed to English language resources. It contains the item number 8 to 12. And the third subsection is regulation of effect that examining student ability to regulate effective issues that would hinder them from developing EFL speaking competence that consists of items number 13 to 15. And last, the fourth subsection addresses student regulation of classroom environment. It investigates student active involvement in classroom assignment and activities that consists of item number 16 to 20. And then the respondent replied to each statement questionnaire as per a 5-point Likert type scale, with the 1 is strongly disagree, 2 is disagree, 3 is undecided, 4 is agree, and 5 is strongly agree. Okay, next slide. Yeah, and the next is about data collection of this research. So in this research, the researcher collect data by conducting the activities as you can see on the screen here. First, the researcher coordinate with the student representative of level 3 and 4 to add the researcher to their formal student WhatsApp group. And then in those virtual group, the researcher introduced the aim and scope of the study and reflected his appreciation of student time and effort to be part of the study. And then he urged students to log into their Google account and reminded them they had to do it only once with their utmost honesty within a 24-hour window opening before the online questionnaire was closed. And then he posted the Google Form link to self-regulated motivation for improving speaking English as a foreign language questionnaire survey on May 13, 2020. And last, all the questionnaire items were required to be answered before submitting. Therefore, the valid response rate of return questionnaire was 100%. And for the data analysis procedure, then the obtained data of the questionnaire were then dissected through the SPSS version 26, where 2 types of statistical analysis were applied. The first one was a descriptive statistic that measures frequency, percentage, mean, and standard deviation to obtain participant perception on their level of self-regulated motivation for improving speaking English as a foreign language. And the second is inferential statistic, namely two-way ANOVA to obtain the difference in student self-regulated motivation for improving speaking English as a foreign language in terms of their academic level and gender. And this table is the mean interpretation used as a reference in this study. Okay, and that's all. Back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you very much for the good explanation of VVD. Okay, guys, let's move to the next topic. To the next part of the article is about findings. Will be explained by Ade Muhammad Faizal. So Ade, time is yours.
Okay, my thanks to the moderator for the opportunity to explain the findings. Next slide, please. Okay, first we have demographics here, data from 300 EFL college students, half juniors and half seniors were gathered and analyzed. Most of each group was female, 67% in junior and 69% in senior. That means female students strongly outnumber male students at these institutions. In the table, we can see the frequency and the percentage of students by gender and academic level. And the participants' age was not relevant in this study since they were in the same group between 20 until 25 years old. Now we go to the next slide, please. Okay, for junior students level of self-regulated motivations to improve their speaking English of EFL, the junior participants responded to 20 statements on a Likert type scale, representing their level. In the table here, we can see the frequency of response to these 20 items, self-regulated motivation to improve their speaking of EFL skills. The first 7 items examined students' level of task value activations. 8 until 12 measured students' level of regulating or learning environment. 13 until 15 evaluated students' level of regulating effect. And the last 5 items quantified students of regulating classroom environment. The respondents were determined on 5-point Likert type scale. Higher score pointed to a higher level self-regulated motivations to improve their speaking of EFL, while the lower score pointed to a lower level. In general, junior students' overall self-regulated motivations to improve their speaking of EFL level was a medium, with an overall response mean of 3.4 and the standard deviations of 0.7 that we can see in the table. So considering about several scale here, task value activations, the mean score was 3.8, pointing to a high level. Most of junior students agreed or strongly agreed about keeping up their interest and willingness English learning on, and only 42% respondents agreed on or strongly agreed that they are paid attention all the time in English lessons. For the second, regulating of learning environment, the mean score was 3.0, pointing to a medium level. Most junior students respondents, it's about 56 agreed or strongly agreed about trying to practice their English when they encountering foreigners. Besides, most of them were undecided about looking for international friends and speaking English with foreign online. And however, with 32 points of them undecided about how junior students respondents disagree and strongly disagree with trying to visit a place with a lot of foreign visitor. And 37 of them disagree or strongly disagree about getting in touch with native speakers. Next, we have regulating of effect. The mean score was 3.4, signifying a medium level. Half of junior students respondents, about 50%, and about half of them, 48%, respectively agree or strongly agreed with maintaining high self-confidence and overcoming their fear while speaking English, and only 40% reported that they could rise about their anxiety when speaking English. For regulating classroom environment, the mean score was 3.4, suggesting a medium level. More than half junior students respond, and half of them respectively agree or strongly agreed with engaging in English speaking tasks and activities in class, and spending time with friends who help and motivate each other to speak English. Only 40 until 41% agreed or strongly agreed with talking in English with people they know, utilizing every chance during lessons to speak English and entertaining the notions of English speaking in class. So that's half of findings. I'll keep it back to moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for Ade. Okay, guys. Next explanation is still about findings, because the findings, it's a little long. And for the findings, the next explanation will be delivered by Doni Adriansyah.
Thank you to
For
the
Doni, time is
moderator.
yours.
All right. Thank you to the moderator for giving me the opportunity to deliver material by me. All right. The third finding is senior students level of SRMIS EFL. The senior student participant responded to the same SRMIS EFL questionnaire administered to the junior students. Senior students respondents a level of SRMIS EFL was previously gauged as the junior ones a 5-point Likert type scale ranging from 1 strongly disagree as minimum value to 5 strongly agree or maximum value. Higher scores denoted a higher level of SRMIS EFL, while lower scores reflected a lower SRMIS EFL level. As you can see in the table of 5 displays the frequency of responses to the 20-item SRMIS EFL scale, and move to the table 6. In general, senior students overall SRMIS EFL level was high with an overall responses mean score of 3.6 and a standard deviation of 0.7. Still in the table 6, as regards their level of task activations, senior students responses mean score was 4.1 or with a strongly disagree 0.7. It's pointing to high level of task value activation. Most of the senior students respondent agreed or strongly agreed with reminding themselves of speaking English well, 89% learning from their mistakes, 85% keeping up their interest and willingness in English learning, 83%, sorry, listening carefully to their teachers English, 77%, finding ways to improve their motivations. For English speaking, 76%, and learning from other mistakes, 65%. Besides that, 62% of respondents agreed or strongly agreed that they paid attention all the time in English lesson. And for regulating their learning environment, the mean score of senior students responses was 3.2 with strongly disagree 0.8. It's showing a medium level of learning environment regulations. What is that? Most senior students responded 63% agreed or strongly agreed about trying to practice their English when they encounter foreigners with 36% and 33% of them respectively were undecided, and only 39% of senior student respondent agreed or strongly agreed about finding international friends to practice English and speaking English with foreigners online. And 36% agreed strongly agreed about getting in touch with native speakers of English. However, more than half of the senior student respondents, 53% disagreed or strong foreigner visitors. And concerning the regulation of affect, the mean score of senior students' response was 3.6 with strongly disagree 0.9, suggesting it's suggesting a high level of affect regulation. More than half senior student respondents with 67% and 55% agreed or strongly agreed, respectively, with maintaining high self-confidence and overcoming their fear while speaking English. And only 47% reported that they could rise above their anxiety when speaking English. And as for regulating their classroom environment, senior student responses mean score was 3.5 with strongly disagree 0.7. It's pointing to high level of classroom environment regulation. And most senior student respondent agreed or strongly agreed with spending time with friends who help and motivate each other to speak English, with a 58% talking in English with people they know, 56%, and engaging in English speaking tasks and activities in class, 52%. Nonetheless, only 47% and 41% agreed or strongly agreed, respectively, with entertaining the notion of English speaking in class and using every chance during lessons to speak English. And the next slide, please. And the fourth finding is interaction of academic level and gender on SRMI as EFL. In the table 7, displayed the means and standard deviation for students overall SRMIS EFL for the two academics level and the two gender groups. Yeah, as you can see, in the table 8 shows no significant interaction between academic level and gender on SRMIS EFL. Besides that, it shows that the effect of academic level on SRMIS EFL was not significant, with Fisher-Snedeker as 1,296, with probability value as 0.085. However, a statistically significant main effect of gender on SRMIS EFL in favor of female students. And eta for gender was 0.017. And according to Cohen, is small effect size. All right. I give it back to the moderator.
Okay, it has been finished for the findings, yeah, alhamdulillah. And also for the last explanation is about the discussion will be explained by Vina Destriana. Time is yours.
All right, thank you, the moderator, for giving me a chance. Beforehand, I will check. Can you hear my voice?
Yes,
Okay.
your voice is clear.
These are for our discussion today. Discussion today is from the finding, and we will discuss into 4 points. First is junior and senior students level of SRMI as EFL, or self-regulation, motivation, improving speaking ability in EFL classroom. This study aimed to look into Yemeni EFL college student level of SMI EFL. It investigated the connection of student academic level and gender to their SRIMIS EFL. And the result from the data analysis of the online SRMIFL survey show that the participation had generally a medium average to a high level of SRMISEFL. As you can see in this slide, these are table 7 and table 8. And the overall mean of junior student SRMIEFL was 3.4. It's mean that student strongly disagree is 0.7, indicating a medium overall SRIMISEFL level. And the findings from the online SRMAISEF survey revealed that the overall mean of senior students SRIMISEFL survey revealed that the overall mean of senior student was
3.6, it means strongly disagree. 1.6, pointing to a high overall SRMIS-EFL level. But junior high school and students, but senior and junior students report medium regulation of their learning environment since they indicated that there are attempts to seek other ways to participate more and improve their learnings. Experience beyond the classroom were modest, especially in their and divorced individuals. And okay, the second one topic is interaction of academic level and gender on SRMIS-EFL. The second purpose of the study was to examine the relationship between students SRMIS-EFL and their academic level and gender. The result from these findings is student academic level had no significant effect on their SRMIS-EFL, which could imply that student EFL speaking competence did not differ significantly at both levels. Okay. For the third one is about, I'm sorry, is about pedagogical. The study has implication for EFL 30 stakeholders, policymakers, teachers, and students. And development of motivation self-regulation in EFL college program should be a priority. And then awareness of motivational self-regulation strategy to foster students picking competency through EFL learning experience inside the class and beyond. At the learning level, students need to take of their motivation to continue improving the English speaking competence. They need to get involved in a class discussion, activity, and tasks using English. And for the last is about limitation and future directions. The limitation of study need to be acknowledged. First, it used for a confidential sampling focusing on junior and senior students in one university may limit the generalization of its findings to other contexts. And therefore, a study with a random sampling is recommended for further investigation. And the second one, science motivational regulation is a dynamic and interact construct. The study has only reflected students' use of SRMIS-EFL at the time of investigation. And such Prince 2004 is worth conducting because of its limitation. The study has rendered empirical and context-specific findings and insight to EFL researchers, policymakers, teachers, and students in relevant EFL countries. Maybe that's it I can say for discussion. And thank you so much for your attention. I'll give it back to Nurul. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the good explanation. Okay, guys, let's let's continue for our presentation today. For the conclusion of this meeting, the study examined Yemen EFL College junior and senior student use of self-regulated motivation to improve their EFL speaking. Its findings revealed that all students employed a range of self-regulatory motivational strategies in improving their EFL speaking, and their overall SRMIS EFL level range for medium to a high level. This illustrates that motivational self-regulatory strategies are not used equally across the board. Some students employ motivational strategies while others use different ones. The strategies involved in task value activation seem to be more utilized by junior and senior students than any other strategies of the other subdomains of Cermais EFL. In contrast, all students seem to struggle with regulating their learning environment, which could be because of the ongoing local conflict and the coronavirus pandemic. And student self-confidence and the teacher role account for fostering student motivation enhancement towards Cermais EFL. The study demonstrates the exigency to train teacher and student on motivational regulation strategies. Okay, maybe enough for the presentation. And here is the reference for our survey research design, yeah. And for the file next, we will send to you via Google Classroom or maybe WhatsApp. Okay, for the next session, I will open for just one question. If you want to ask about this presentation, please raise your hand. Okay, Rais Noval, please.
Ya, halo. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya Rais Nova, NPM 083. Ingin bertanya tentang tadi ada yang mempresentasikan tentang deskriptif statistik dan inferensial statistik. Ini saya akan menanyakan tentang pengertian umumnya dan contoh-contohnya yang mungkin ada di masyarakat yang biasa umum digunakan, seperti bagaimana ya?
Oke, tentang apa tadi bisa diulang?
Tentang deskriptif statistik dan inferensial statistik.
Deskriptif statistik dan inferensial statistik ya. Oke.
Ya.
For
fungsinya
our
itu bagaimana ya?
Oke.
Maksud saya fungsinya ya.
Oke. Jadi what the function of the descriptive statistik sama inferential statistik ya. Oke.
Yeah, yes.
For our member, for the members of group who wants to answer this question, you can on your mic, please.
Okay. Maybe I will try to answer the Rais question. Alright, Rais, thank you for the question ya before. Jadi menurut pemahaman saya ini singkatnya dengan statistik deskriptif ini kita tuh kayak dapat mengetahui gambaran singkat terkait karakteristik dari sebuah kumpulan data berupa respon yang didapatkan setelah survei atau observasi yang telah dilaksanakan. Nah, tadi kan contohnya melalui statistik deskriptif ini kita tuh bisa mengetahui bagaimana keadaan frekuensi, persentase, dan min-nya. Nah, terus sebagai pelengkapnya itu statistik inferensial ini kayak dapat membantu kita untuk menemukan kesimpulan dari sebuah penelitian, terus membuat prediksi berdasarkan data yang ada, yang telah diperoleh dari survei yang sudah dilakukan sebelumnya. Mungkin itu saja jawaban dari saya. Terima kasih.
Okay, how Rais?
Ya. Ya, bisa dimengerti. Terima kasih, Nopi.
Okay, guys, because the time is over, and sorry for taking your 4 minutes times. Maybe enough from us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.